Welcome to this episode of Our College, Your Voices. I am your host, Kara Monroe. Today, we're going to be talking about strategic Goal 2 updates around recruitment and enrollment. Last fall, we began the process of refreshing the Goal 2 strategies and metrics. We held statewide listening sessions, and then a cross-functional team of campus and systems office employees worked together to create an updated plan. In July, campuses were given their new Goal 2 metrics. These new goals are based on the recruitable population of each campus's service area. They've been broken down all the way to the county level. Recruitable population is defined as high school students in grades 10 through 12 and populations ages 18 to 64 with a high school diploma or with some college but no degree. A primary intention of the Goal 2 refresh is to allow more campus autonomy rather than systems office enrollment requirements by student category. This is allowing campuses to create the most impactful strategy for their service area. I have got a fantastic panel here with me today to discuss this, so let's meet them. First up is our president, Sue Elsperman. Welcome back, Sue.
Hey, it's wonderful to be with you, Kara. Yeah, just to remind people, I'm entering my 6th year as president now, so.
That is amazing.
Ivy Tech is truly home, truly home.
Well, we are glad you are calling it home. Next up is Chris Lowry. Hi, Chris.
Good afternoon, Kara. Good afternoon, listeners. Good to be with you.
And Chris, remind everybody what your title is.
Senior Vice President, Workforce, Careers, and Adult Strategy.
Wonderful. Great to have you here. And next is Joe Carlin. Hi, Joe.
Hey, everyone. It's nice to see you. My name's Joe Neha Carlin. I'm our Vice President of Recruitment, Management, and Enrollment Strategy at Ivy Tech.
Nice to have you. And Stacy Townsley.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Stacy Townsley, Vice President for Adult Strategy and Statewide Partnerships.
And last but not least is Rebecca Ray-Schulte.
Hi, Kara. Rebecca Ray-Schulte, Vice President of K-14 Initiatives and Statewide Partnerships, and I'm excited to be here.
Very good. So, Sue, I'm going to start this with you, which is, I know this topic of headcount is really one that's very important to you and to me and to everybody on the cabinet. Could you talk about why headcount is one of the most important metrics that feeds our mission and vision?
Thank you for asking, because it really, while financially it's important for us to have students, we know our true mission is to educate, upskill, and help Hoosiers have great careers, prosperity, and to help employers have the talent pipeline they need. And we know that the best way to prosperity is a degree or credential of value, right? We know all the research about those who have post-secondary education are going to earn $1 million more if they've had that. So even if we didn't need the money financially to run our campuses, we absolutely need to be serving many more Hoosiers from high school through adults, through all of those upskilling and reskilling moments in their life. And we've got much more to do. It's never been more important. And headcount just happens to be the way we measure the number of students we serve.
So, Joe, I think I'm going to go to you for this next question, which is to just go a little bit more into a little more depth around that definition of headcount. The new Goal 2 is being measured on headcount enrollment. Can you talk more about how we're defining it?
So the big change that we had in the refresh is we're now moving towards an all-in headcount for enrollment. And what that means is we're now, not only are we taking care of counting regular credit, or we've also called it revenue generating in the past, now we're adding dual credit, non-credit, and apprentice, as well as senior scholar. So we're really having a better opportunity to measure all of the impacts we're having on the state of Indiana as it relates to our students. As we refreshed the goal, it was really important that we were representing and measuring all of the students that we serve to demonstrate the true impact that Ivy Tech is having on Indiana's workforce and our economy.
When I think about this group, as we were trying to get this podcast together, folks behind the scenes don't know that we sort of iterated on this podcast several times to get this whole group together, because enrollment really is this cross-functional activity that we now do. Why is that important? And Joe, you hit on this, but I want everybody to go a little deeper. Why is it important to look at that entire cross-functional work as we think about Goal 2?
Well, I'll get us started, and then I'd love to invite my colleagues to chime in here. But really, it can't just live in the responsibility of one department, right? There's so much work happening in workforce through Chris and Stacy and their team, the things that Rebecca and her team is doing in our K-14 space. It really reflects everything as a community. So we were excited about having this sort of cross-functional team at the campus level that could also work together and pull together a true strategic enrollment plan that serves the entire college.
I appreciate you, Joe, for providing that great foundation for our cross-functional work that we do as a college. And I just want to add that, I don't think it would be possible for us to be able to operate in a silo with our departments, because really, in order for us to serve students most effectively and efficiently, it really means that we have to link arms with one another to make this a reality. So when I think about the students that we serve through dual credit programming, we're ensuring that they are enrolled, we're ensuring that they're successful. So we're also ensuring that they have, the retention efforts underway, but also we look at completions, we look at matriculation. How are we getting them on our campuses and in our buildings so that we can introduce to them all the possibilities that await them once they graduate high school as well. So we wouldn't be able to do that in a silo. We really have to work with other departments, both in systems office, but on our campuses to make that a reality.
Okay, and I just want to come in to add, thank you, Rebecca, for all the work your team is doing. And I think as Joe's been here now a full year, I think she sees and we see that there's even more intentional work we could do to ensure that every high school junior and senior who's taking our dual credit understands they could be continuing to a degree or credential at Ivy Tech when they graduate high school. And I think today, Joe, correct me, I think about 18% of high school seniors are coming to Ivy Tech when they graduate.
Mm-hmm.
That number could easily be 25 or 50%, and we would be serving them very well. We already know them from high school. They already know us. They're probably already on a program of study towards a degree or credential. Could we not finish that work? And I think, Joe, thank you as you've come in to really see how much more intentionally we could be holding hands with that student from high school into Ivy Tech. And I want to say upfront, I know there are campuses that do a fabulous job of that. And there are campuses who know we could be doing a whole lot more, again, all to the benefit of the student. We want them to go to the right next post-secondary institution. And for many Hoosier graduating high school students, that really is Ivy Tech.
Well, and Sue, I think it's such a beautiful opportunity for us because not only is Rebecca's team doing such a great job in the dual credit, dual enrollment space, what I'm challenging our teams now that we really need to make sure that we're serving is that student without a plan. We know over 50% of graduating seniors don't know what they're doing next. So Rebecca's doing a great job. Now we need to come alongside those students, and we're working with our new student personas, and we've got, what's next, Wyatt. And that's really what's designed to hit on that idea of, all right, it's okay that you don't know. We can be here for you too. And I think we have a lot of opportunity, and I'm really excited about that.
And from the adult strategy space, I'll build on what Joe was talking about. It's not only the recognition of what we're doing across the college, like in the workforce space, the non-credit training alongside our employer partners, as well as the outreach with the state's funding with Next Level Jobs and the Workforce Ready Grant. It's also being intentional about knitting it together for that learner so that they can go from a non-credit training into a short-term credential or associate degree. And we have some fabulous examples happening at the college. Just starting off, our CDL Plus program is a good one, where that student is starting off in that non-credit space, earning an industry recognized certification, and then going into, and the campuses are supporting this work, then being guided into that certificate for that completion.
And Kara, I would add only to what has been said already, that what each person has talked about is really what I think we're all recognizing now as an ecosystem of education training that is appropriate to a lifelong learner. Even with taking Hoosiers to the next level recently and the work that was done there, right? We witnessed individuals with bachelor's degrees coming back to get short-term credentials and becoming more marketable in the economy. Mm-hmm. So it is it's an all hands effort here. We are Indiana's community college, and I think this enterprise represents better than any that full breadth of that ecosystem where over the life of a learner, she or he is going to come in and out of it multiple times. And there's no better place than Ivy Tech.
There's one thing that we learned from the brand study that we did last year is that 92% of our former students say they would come back and do it again. That's really strong brand affinity. The fact that they've appreciated what the experience they had here at Ivy Tech. But to your point, which is a great point of, you can have a bachelor's and still want to sharpen your skills in another area. And we're the perfect avenue for that outlet.
And we have so many wonderful short-term certificates and credentials that allow you to do just that Ivy Tech should just be a part of your journey throughout your life. So that is wonderful. So I talked a little bit about the sort of broad stretch of the campus metric, but how was that specific campus metric created?
One of the things that we did is we really sat down and said, hey, we have a lot of data. Let's use that data to educate our decisions. So we took a really deep dive look at the state of Indiana. And the way that we broke down campus metrics is we thought, let's identify what their recruitable population is and then set their metrics based on that. And the way that we're defining recruitable population, it means it's high school students in grades 10 through 12, as well as general population citizens ages 18 to 64 that have a high school diploma or some college credit, but no degree earned. So that really allowed us to hone in on what our target population should be for recruitment. And that's what we based our goals upon.
And the specific metric, if I remember correctly, Joe, is set based on like an April 1st look at where enrollment is at the campus the previous year, or in that year as we look to the next year. And then is it a 2% increase?
We start with the idea that we really want to set goals that campuses felt were attainable. Mm-hmm. So we looked at that recruitable population and we took the number that they had, and we're basically asking for a 0.2%. 0.2, not 2. So 0.2 of that recruitable population. So in some campuses, they're doing a great job of penetration and they're there. You know what I mean? They're really getting there. And then of course, as we always do at Ivy Tech, we've set a stretch goal for each campus of a 0.5% increase. And some of our campuses like Hamilton County, for example, they've already met their stretch goal for the year. So we're doing really, really well. And we've got some good things happening on the recruitment and enrollment side of the house.
So of course, we've tied this to our statewide strategic plan. This is one of our metrics on the dashboard. Who is creating that statewide strategy for us?
There's a cross-functional team for each of our Goal 2 strategy groups. So when we were putting this together for the refresh, it was really important that we made sure that we had many more representatives from the campus level than we did from systems office on each of the strategies. So what you'll see is a co-lead situation of someone from systems and someone at the campus, but the majority of the folks on each of the teams are really campus-based. And further, they're cross-functional. So Stacy is on some of our strategy teams. Rebecca is on some of our strategy teams. So we've really gone statewide and then campus deep to get the voices from all the sides of the house to create that strategy.
And can you give me a little bit of insight into what those specific strategies are for Goal 2?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing that we're working towards is creating a student-centered process for communications that support enrollment. Right now, in some cases, we haven't been as student-centric as we should be. So we're working to improve that. So there's a cross-functional team set up. They're doing, it's being led by Aja Michael Keller from Fort Wayne, and then Kate Wallace in our systems office marketing department. And that team is, like I said, a cross-functional team of various marketing staff, K-14 staff, workforce staff, and then admissions and enrollment teams. The second strategy we have is 2.2, and that's to commit to a student-first approach to recruitment and enrollment. That work is being led by Susan Brown from Fort Wayne, Sarah Cleveland from Systems, and Shakira Grubbs from Systems. And that idea is we need to work at the basics. We're going to start building better relationships with our recruits as well as our new students so we can start and establish a relationship that can be long going. Strategy 2.3 is to instill a culture that all employees at Ivy Tech have a role in recruitment. Now, that's not to say we're passing off our job to you. We're just trying to instill the mindset that we're a workforce ourselves of a few thousand people, and we have the ability to impact positively the view and brand that we have in the community. So that work is being led by Denise Johnson Kincaid at Evansville, and then Shakira Grubbs and Systems. We've got two more. The 2.4 is encourage external partners to amplify our recruitment and enrollment efforts. And that's being led by LaWanda Job from Indianapolis, Jen Gassioric Welch from Muncie, and then Stacey Townsley, who's on the call with us. So Stacey, I'm going to let you chat a little bit about this one.
And so this strategy is really around being more laser focused on intentional engagement with our community-based and faith-based organizations, coming alongside them, not only with the goal to hopefully develop pipelines for enrollment, but just also to establish that network that ultimately ends up serving the learners that we have. And so that is part of that. That's one of the strategies. Another strategy within that is to really focus in on our advisory boards as a tool for recruitment and enrollment. So we have a lot of momentum around practical steps that that we're building on things that we're already doing as a college, that we're tracking these engagements with these organizations, that we're entering the data in our systems so that we can have an informed picture.
Thank you, Stacey. And then the last one, I think all of our folks on the admissions and enrollment side of the house are pleased to learn. 2.5 is dedicated to ensuring a seamless enrollment experience for students across departments. That work is being led by Estella O'Neill from Bloomington and Sarah Cleveland from Systems Office. The first thing we're tackling there is that application. We know that we've got some room for improvement there, and the team is working really hard. That's actually our largest strategy team. So we've got more folks that have day-to-day experience in how students are going through that journey. And they're really helping us to inform how might we do things differently. So one thing that we're considering, let's continue to keep the application short so people can get through it. If they hit submit, what if we then said, want to continue letting us get to know you? And then we have the ability to send them through another assessment so we can learn things like, are you planning to work while you're coming to college? Do you need assistance with childcare? Things like that. So when we have those initial discussions with our admissions and enrollment teams, they actually have a picture of who that student is. And what a great way to really dive into those conversations and start a relationship when you kind of have an idea of where someone's coming. And it's also helpful for future student success. So, if we all know going into this that, hey, the student's we're going to probably need to talk to them as to how they plan on balancing working and school. That sort of thing. So we're really excited about the work that's being done there. It's big, and we're trying to move really quickly because we know that the need is now.
I'd love to just compliment the good work of this Goal 2 team. When I think about 3 years ago and we developed the strategies the first time to where they are today, they are so laser focused on helping students find us, enroll with us, and stay with us. So you can just feel the retention elements in all of those strategies and the true living out of our number one core competency, which is being student-centered. So just compliments to all those who are giving so much time, energy, thought leadership to helping the college, again, become the community college that Hoosiers need us to be. So kudos to those who are here today and to all those who are working on Goal 2.
Very good, Sue. Thank you. So overall, we just wanted to make sure that everybody understands the new goal and that our campuses and all of our team members feel that this is a goal that's attainable, but also an opportunity for us to stretch. We know it's important to have campus input and to understand how we got there. We're most excited about the opportunity for using what we're learning through 40X and creating true cross-functional teams at the campus level that work together to achieve the campus metrics. And I will add a link in the show notes for anyone that wants to also check out the dashboard. I know I go look at the enrollment dashboard every morning. That's how I start my day. And everybody else can do that too, so that you can actually see these groups broken out by student to see what your campus is and to understand your campus strategy. And I hope each campus will take the opportunity to discuss that strategy on their campuses if they haven't done that already. I know many already have, but if you haven't, I think that would be a great opportunity. Thanks again for joining this episode of Our College Your Voices. I want to thank today's panelists, Sue Elsferin, President at Ivy Tech, Chris Lowry, Senior Vice President for Workforce Alignment and Adult Strategy Systems Office, Joe Nahad-Carlin, Vice President for Recruitment and Enrollment Management Systems Office, Stacy Townsley, Vice President for Adult Strategy and Statewide Partnerships and Systems Office, and Rebecca Ray-Schulte, Vice President for K-14 Initiatives and Statewide Partnerships and Systems Office. I'm your host, Kara Monroe. You can connect with me on Twitter at KNM Tweets. Our producer is Sarah Ferguson. You can reach us by email at ourcollegeyourvoices@ivytech.edu. Don't forget, if you're an Ivy Tech faculty or staff member, you can join our Microsoft Teams listener community. I send out instructions on that most every Thursday in that somewhat random email that goes out to our employees now. Our website, where you'll find links to our show notes, is ivytech.edu/podcast. Production assistance for this and every episode provided by Becky Campbell and the Ivy Tech Community College Creative Services team. And our podcast concept is by Matthew Pittman. The music and post-production services provided by Jen Eads at the Brassy Broadcasting Company. And we will talk to you next time on Our College, Your Voices.